Good Shabbos, everyone. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs tells the story that when he was a student, a college student in Oxford, or maybe it was Cambridge actually, he came to meet the Lubavitcher Rebbe in Brooklyn. And he was talking to the Rebbe in a private meeting, and the Rebbe asked him, "What are you doing at Cambridge?" And he said, "I'm studying philosophy." And then the Rebbe said, "No, what are you doing to help Jewish life on campus?" And he said, "I started to say to the Rebbe, well, you know, in the circumstance that I find myself in," and the Rebbe cut him off. And the Rebbe said, "A Jew doesn't find himself in a circumstance, a Jew puts himself in a circumstance." This week's Torah portion begins with the words, Vayishlach Yaakov malachim. Jacob sent malachim to his brother Esav. Now, the word malach usually means an angel, but it could also mean a messenger. He sent messengers to his brother Esav to make peace with him as he was returning home. And the question is, why use the word angels, malachim, if it means messengers? Now, in last week's Torah portion, Vayetze, we remember when Jacob left the land of Israel, he had a vision, a dream of a ladder with angels going up and down to escort him out of the land of Israel on his journey to the house of his uncle Laban. And at the end of last week's Torah portion, when he's coming back to Israel, it says, Vayifku bo malachei Elokim, the angels of God encountered him to welcome him back home to the land of Israel. And continuing with the theme of God's angels, it says, Yaakov sent angels, messengers. And what the Torah is teaching us is a very powerful lesson. That just like God has spiritual angels that he sends into this world to carry out his mission, so to every one of us. Even though we're human, we're also God's angels. We're God's messengers. We're God's emissaries and ambassadors. And therefore, when you fulfill your mission and your purpose, when you go to college, not just to learn and study and get a career. You know, some people call what they do a job. They call it occupation, career. But the real definition for what you do in life is a calling. Whatever you're doing, find the calling in what you're doing. What is your spiritual mission and purpose? How are you a malach, not just a messenger, but a spiritual, angelic messenger from God on earth? What mission, what purpose are you here to fulfill and carry out? What difference, what impact do you have to make? When we look at what's happening in Israel, we see hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of malachim around the world, starting with the IDF, and then all the different organizations that are helping, and all the individuals that are helping. We are all angels carrying out God's will to defeat evil. Just like when Moshe Rabbeinu and the Jewish people fought Amalek, it says that Moses went up on the mountain and raised his hands towards the heavens so the Jews should be victorious. And when his hands were tiring, Aaron and Hur held his hands up, and what does the verse say? Vayihi yadav emunah, his hands were raised with faith until they defeated Amalek. What this Torah is teaching us is that what we need in our mission to succeed over Amalek, or Hamas, which is the modern day reincarnation of Amalek, pure evil on earth, is emunah, faith in God. We can't lose our faith. We can't lose our trust in God. We have to realize we have a mission and a purpose from God to carry out as a Jewish people on earth. And when we go with that confidence and that faith, then we prevail, then we succeed. I heard a story yesterday. There was a fellow telling how he was in one of the kibbutzim on the southern border, and when the Hamas terrorists invaded, he ran into the safe room. He had a locked, secure shelter in his house, and he locked the door, bolted it. He spent 22 hours in this shelter, in this secure room, and the whole time he heard shooting and fighting outside, and he kept on thinking to himself, how will I know when the terrorists are gone and the IDF arrived? And so he came up with a plan. And after 22 hours, he heard knocking on the door. And the voice on the other side of the door said, "Open up, Zet Sahal, this is Sahal, Tzva Haganah Yisrael, it's the Israeli army." And he said to them on the other side of the door, "If you are Tzahal, conclude this verse." And he said, "Shema Yisrael." And the soldiers on the other side responded, "Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad." And that's when he knew it was Tzahal, and he opened the door and embraced the soldiers. This is what we are doing. We are crying out Shema Yisrael collectively, and we are responding as Jews to one another. Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. God is one, and we are here to carry out a mission from Hashem, and we will prevail. We will succeed because Hashem is with us. Have a good Shabbos.